This episode is brought to you by Snoop Dogg and his legendary quote in California Girls with Katy Perry: bikinis, zucchinis, martinis, no weenies, just a king and a queenie.
Welcome to the Stephan Dyer Podcast, my people.
Hello, my people. Today's guest is Gavin Bains. He is a performance coach for high performers, athletes, entrepreneurs, salespeople, teams, whatever you need. This guy is incredible. This episode is an absolute masterclass. He has coached thousands of people all over the world and helped them unlock their own unique, personal, and fulfilling narrative. As Gavin says, his purpose is to empower others to be and operate at their peak potential. What I like about him is that he's 100% himself, super authentic. I love his voice tone. I love his directness. He is a no crap kind of guy. His voice tone is amazing. He sounds like Aziz Ansari and Jerry Seinfeld. Super fun. And he'll tell you straight up, cut the crap and be awesome. If you're watching this on YouTube, don't subscribe. Don't subscribe. Don't comment. Don't like. We've put a lot of effort into this. Why would you support this cause? Don't do it. Reverse psychology. Okay? Enjoy this episode. Gavin Bains. He's the man. I hope you learned a lot. Take care. Welcome, Gavin Bains, the unbreakable, the unmistakable, the highly capable Liverpool die-hard fan. I am a Barcelona die-hard fan, and I am so happy to have you, man. How are you?
Yeah, I'm doing great. You make me blush, man. If you ever, when brown people blush, we go purple.
I love it. Well, you're drinking coffee or water out of a Liverpool mug. I have the World Cup right behind me, and we could talk about soccer and sports.
Yeah,
I read your LinkedIn description, and you said Messi, LeBron James, and other high-performance athletes, they also have a coach.
Yeah.
And I've been talking about this for years. Because I grew up in Latin America and many other cultures, probably the Indian culture too, where asking for help is kind of like for pussies. It's like asking for help is like, oh, you're weak. You need something. You're not enough. So for the longest time, and I'm not saying that I was raised in a poor manner. I had a great childhood, a great education, great parents. I moved around. I had the opportunity to see other environments, which made me resilient. But I want to start off with that because your description says all athletes have a coach, especially if you're the best in the world. Think of Messi, LeBron James, Serena Williams. The list can go on. They all have coaches to support them in becoming better. And this is where I love it, okay? The coach is not better than them at their sport, but can help the athlete become better in their sport.
Yeah.
And to me, this is key because I never really liked asking for help. And now I have a running coach. I have a growth coach. I have I read a lot of books. So in some ways, I have mentors that I haven't even met. I've had a comedy coach. I am a comedy coach myself, but I still take courses with other comedy coaches because you never stop learning. And I wanna hear your opinion on why you wrote this because it struck with me intensely.
Yeah, I started getting in coaching maybe in like my early 20s. And the thing that I got about coaching is like, and I have a coach too, right? So the thing about coaching is, let me just there we go, that's better. The thing about coaching is it's not like there's something wrong with you or you need to be fixed or anything like that. It's about how can you elevate and get better in life.
Yes.
Right? So my job as a coach is to take a look at blind spots for my clients and begin to kind of be in inquiry with them to see, okay, hey, why do you do that? Why do we do this? What can we do to get you better? The coach stands on the field, right?
Yes.
So when the coach stands on the field, the coach can see the whole perspective of the field. Whereas
it's almost like the coach is in the balcony almost. They can see it from another direction.
Yeah. And when you're in the game, sometimes you can't see things that the coach might be able to see. So I work with businesses, I even do like relationship, whatever it is, mindset coaching. I take a look back and look at what can't that person see, and then how can I effectively communicate with them to elevate their performance.
I think that's huge. It's huge, and I noticed that because I read your LinkedIn bio. I probably know about yourself more than you know about yourself.
Probably. My blind spots.
No, but you've been doing this for years, and I've obviously already mentioned your bio in the intro here. But you're a performance coach for high performers. So
yeah,
you're I consider myself a high performer. Now I want to work with you. Entrepreneurs, salespeople, and teams. And one of the things that you do is you empower others to be and operate at their peak potential. And immediately what I think is, okay, if there's someone like me, and I don't think that I'm cocky myself, but if you're talking to LeBron, which I don't think LeBron is cocky himself. Well, he has his cocky side, but he spends over $1 million in himself every year in just improving himself. All the coaches that you can imagine. How do you deal with people who may have been the best in their real estate business, or the best in high school, the best at hockey, or the best in whatever, and you're like, listen, you have so much more to learn. Mm-hmm. And they're like, well, dude, you suck at hockey. How can you even teach me if you're not even that good? How do you deal with egos and people not wanting to take advice from you at the beginning?
No, that's a very, very good question. But the first thing is, when I work with someone, if they're not coachable, I'm not going to do it.
That's huge.
The first thing with coaching is the person has to be willing to be coached. I could be the world's greatest coach, but if you're not willing to get coached, my coaching and what I say to you will make absolutely no difference. I tell my client, the coach is only as good as his player. I'm like, you guys make me look good. You guys do the real work. I just sit here and talk and yammer and get you going and inspire you to act. But if you're not willing to listen to what I say, it's going to make no difference. Now, someone's willing, like, I want to be coached and let's go. And then along the line, there may be barriers. Like, I don't know about that. That's where, like, as a coach, the first couple of sessions, my job is to build trust.
Yeah.
Once I get your trust and you get them on your side, you'll do anything. You begin, man, I trust this guy. As a coach, I have to have the highest level of integrity. Look, if you're gonna get your brain worked on, you're gonna go neurosurgeon. That neurosurgeon's got to have a high level of integrity because there's a lot at stake. They mess up, you're dead. As a coach, you're giving me your life. You're letting me look into your life. You're going to be vulnerable. And if that's the case, I must have the highest level of integrity. I don't fuck around. I'm not just like, I just took a course, I'm going to be a coach. I understand how important it is for me to be at my best so I can make an impact in your life. And I can. This isn't arrogant. I'm really good at what I do. I know it because I care about people. The thing that matters to me the most is not money, it's my integrity. I would not give, and I'm not just, this isn't some bullshit statement that I just say, so, it sounds good, say it. No, my integrity matters to me more than anything. Because at the end of the day, I know who I am. And here's the thing, words have power. Talk's not cheap. We cheapen talk. My words are my superpower. I know how to use my words to penetrate through your brain so they can alter your view of reality. When you have a new view, you take new actions, new results.
Man, I love that. And one of the reasons why I brought you in is because my ex-roommate, and one of my best friends, Enrique, he doesn't just recommend people. And this guy spoke very highly of you.
Blush, you turned me purple again, man.
And I'm like, dude, if Enrique went out of his way to tell me that Gavin should be on this podcast, which hasn't even launched, I'm like, I have to have this guy on. And the podcast today hasn't even launched. I'll have a bunch of episodes recorded, and I'm so happy that you're here. In terms of integrity and what you mentioned about that, you mentioned you have to earn people's trust. And one of the it all goes back to the same, I think, in everything: comedy, sports, coaching, being a husband. It's integrity, it's accountability. And you said something about earning people's trust. And in our public speaking and comedy classes, which essentially is communication, we say that relationships move at the speed of vulnerability.
Great.
And vulnerability builds trust. So I think your journey, and when you share your journey, we were talking about this before the episode started, when you share that you're not just some guy sitting on a high chair in Monaco with like 95 Ferraris telling people what to do and filming videos like, oh no, if you do this, you're going to be a millionaire in 72 hours, blah, blah. Like your story is, your journey is touching. And if you can't connect with your clients and you can't get them to trust you, it's going to be a hard battle to get them to take in what you're saying. We were talking about your childhood before the episode, and you said, well, you were born in England, then moved to Vancouver at the age of 6, and you got put down a grade. And go ahead.
I can remember this day like it happened yesterday. Okay, so I moved to Canada from England, and I remember I'm sitting in grade 1 doing my math homework, right? And then doing my math homework at my desk, and in the corner of my eye, I see my mom and my principal, Mr. Price, standing at the door. And they talk to the teacher. The teacher gets me, and they're like, "Oh, you have to go talk to the principal and your mom. Go to the office." So I walk down to the office. You know, when you're a little guy and the hallways just seem so big, and elementary seems like it's like the biggest thing ever, and then you go back there later and you're like, "Oh, it's so small." But, so go to the office and sit down. Like, Gavin, you're falling a little bit behind. We're gonna put you back. That day, I went from grade 1, where you have the big kids' desks, you have recess and lunch, and you're like a big kid, to kindergarten, playing on the ground with toys. In that moment, I made a crucial decision about my life. And this is what I coach a lot of my clients about, because everything arises in language. It's how you and I are communicating. It's how we're connecting. But there's an aspect of language we don't talk about. This is the language we tell ourselves. And in that moment, a 6-year-old Gavin had to make meaning of the world. And I was like, I decided, whoa, you must be stupid. Boom. Water's wet, rocks are hard, and Gavin, you're stupid. It was that real for me. I became stupid. And my whole life. Now, I was put together. I was the nice guy. I was good. I was raised well. So what happened was, I wasn't horrible in the elementary school and in the beginning of high school grades. I was okay. And people used to think I was a smart guy. But I became a fraud because like, oh shit, people think I'm smart, but I'm really stupid. What the hell? People are going to catch up to me. What's going on? Right? And I was in this internal struggle because I had to now fake it. And then I went into high school. I was doing okay. Grade 11 and 12 is when something kind of like, it just kind of, the pressure just hit me. And I started smoking a lot of weed, a lot of dope, started drinking a lot. And then I went to college, because you got to go to college, university. I went to college. And I just couldn't. That's when I just literally thought I was stupid. I got kicked out. Bad grades. Like I just.
And the story, and in a way, you have to be getting in trouble to confirm your story. That 100%. You're stupid.
Yeah. We see. Look, human beings. And I've studied. See, part of my, as a coach, a performance coach, or mindset conditioning coach, is I've studied human beings, and the human I've studied the most, this guy.
Yeah.
And I've read a lot, and I'm continually developing myself and getting better. And human beings were designed to be right. So I had to be right that I was stupid. I had to find evidence in my reality. And then I started hanging with some bad dudes, and they started selling drugs and getting into some bad stuff. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Well, I can keep you might have to slow me down because I just like to talk. And it was just like I just was stuck in a rut. It was just so real for me. And then there was a moment in my early 20s. I did a course, and I literally, like, it was like a profound moment. I got a human being arises in language. What makes you human is your language. And I got in that moment. There's a moment I'm sitting in this course. I was like, holy shit, I made that up. when I was 6 years old, I made up that I was stupid. And
was it in Landmark?
Yeah. And I started to bawl. Okay, because I was like, oh my God. Then the next thing is I couldn't stop laughing because I got the absurdity of it. It was absolutely absurd. Half the bullshit we tell ourselves is absurd, but we buy into the bullshit. My coach is to help you stop believing into your own bullshit. And not some hooey-fooey, blah, 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 attraction stuff. Does law of attraction work? I'm not sure. That's above my pay grade. I like to keep things practical, right? Yeah. And you can see, I had a story of I'm stupid, okay? So then I created I'm powerful and confident. Now, two objects can't occupy the same space. It's physics. So in any moment in life, now any moment in life, I have to create I'm powerful and confident because stupid's going to come in. See, the thing is, try to fix themselves. You can't. My stupid's always there. I just have to override it, and I'm quicker at it. Look, before
it's this that podcast, self-awareness. You got that self-awareness now.
You know, before we went to come to this podcast, you know what my thoughts are? Oh my God, Gab, don't say something stupid. Oh my God, what am I going to do? Nervous, right? But that's right there. I think I'm going to mess this up. But now I have the practice. No, come on, Bains. Fuck that. Are you going to honor that? Or are you going to be powerful and confident? How am I going to sit? How am I going to stand? What am I going to do? What am I going to wear? And then I step into that new story. And that's what I help my clients do. We take a look at the old bullshit that you bought into, and then we create something new. And then the game is have this override this. And this is always going to come in. Always going to come in. And you just got to get quicker at bringing this out. Most people get fucked up is they try to fix themselves. You can't get fixed. You got to override the bullshit. I have a saying.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Go ahead. What's the saying?
Cut the crap and be awesome. I'm writing a book. Cut the crap and be awesome. So you're crap, then you be awesome. And every moment is a choice. And it's fun.
Yeah, no, I love it. And the more you talk, I know you probably perfected these concepts, and it's like I'm almost being coached right now, but I can't help think of my Landmark journey because to me it was profound to understand that the story I was telling myself about the facts is not the same. You have the facts, and then you have the story you tell yourself. And when you can't distinguish what actually happened from the story you're telling yourself, and these two collide, that is when pain arises, because you don't know what the fuck is going on. And having that self-awareness is key in everything, because that's why I probably created this is my positive room. This is this is the place where I see everything that I've accomplished, where I believe it, where there's no negativity. I have my goals board here.
I saw that on your Instagram.
I got a bunch of things. I got my books that make me in a positive mind frame, because it's really easy to fall into the shitty mindset, and then it's like a shitty day, another shitty day, and sometimes you have like years of a good momentum, but some people I see that have a shitty day, then their dog dies, then they get evicted, and you can't stop it. It's incredible.
And here's the thing. Look, the thing is, I tell people, you can do as many courses you want, but it doesn't make a difference unless you don't create it in every moment. What makes me an effective coach is I have to create that everything arises in language in every moment. Because as soon as I know it, it's concept. It's an idea. I know it. No. You can't know it. You have to be it. See, we can read all our books and this and that, but there's a difference between knowing something and doing something. And human beings, we're very conceptual. We don't know how to act. See, your personal growth and development will arise in your actions.
And what can you give me an example just for the ESL immigrant listeners? It arises in language. So are you saying that when I say I am a shitty soccer player, then I'm actually a shitty soccer player.
You will then,
or
so
what do you mean?
It's not like, oh, I say it, then it manifests like some woo-woo. It's you say it, and then okay, I'm a shitty soccer player, okay? I work with athletes too. I love working with athletes. I'm a shitty soccer player. I'm a shitty soccer player. I'm a shitty soccer player. When you're on the pitch, you relate to yourself as a shitty soccer player. So you're going to take actions consistent with the shitty soccer player. You won't stand up straight. You'll be scared to go in for that tackle. You won't pass it. You'll be like petrified, right? You won't do what a powerful soccer player does. You feel like I'm a powerful soccer player. You may mess up, but hey, what am I going to do now? What action am I going to take? See, your stories are going to guide your actions, and your actions make you who you are. Look, it's very simple. If you want to be fit, right, you got to eat healthy, right? You have to eat healthy. So if you eat donut or sugar, it's going to make your body go weak. Yeah. Mental toughness is you want to be mentally tough. You have to feed your brain strong food. Language. I'm shitty, donut. I'm powerful, broccoli.
Yeah. And it seemed like, dude, I 100% agree. And how do you make that jump from, it may be really simple, I don't know, but that's why I'm asking. How do you make that jump from, I'm stupid, I got put down a grade, I start smoking weed in high school, I'm getting in all kinds of trouble, hanging out with the wrong crew, get kicked out of college because I had the worst grades or whatever, to seeing this, everything arises in language, and now all of a sudden my life is great. But it's very hard for a lot of people to make that jump. Maybe it is very simple.
No, because people see right now you're seeing me, oh man, how old am I? 37, maybe 15 years later. So we always see people's end goals. We see where they've arrived. You see someone on Instagram and go, wow, oh my God, look at them.
Yeah, the highlight reel.
But you never see how they got there. See, when I had that, look, I couldn't speak in front of a group of people. One time in college, I had to give a presentation. No joke. So I go to the front of the classroom and I start saying random words. No, NASA, space, cat, moon. And the professor's like, Gavin, go sit down. Fast forward, maybe 7 years later, 7 years later, I'm leading transformational seminars to 150 people, to executives, to you name it, right? I'm leading a seminar. How did that happen? Now, did I go from not being able to speak in front of a room to 150 people? No. I took a course about how to, be powerful in front of the room. Then I practiced speaking to friends I knew. Then I spoke to 2 people. Then I spoke to 3 people. Then 5.
Okay, so it's gradual. It's
It's like going to the gym. It's mental toughness, okay? So if I went to the gym, someone took me to the gym, and they're like, would I lift the 150 pounds right away? No. You lift the 5, then the 10, then the 15, then maybe you go back to 10. Then you gradually keep working. It's okay to mess up. I tell all my clients, you're going to screw up. It's okay. I want you to. You need to. So don't look to where you're going to be 10 years. I have a saying. It's called win the day. Just win today. Do your best today. Just whatever today is, win it. You win today. You win tomorrow. You keep winning the day. And by the way, you're going to lose. Okay. You will lose. No one can win every day. You can't. You can't go 82-0. You can't. You will lose.
82-0 basketball reference for the non-sports lovers.
Whatever the case is.
Oh, hockey's also 82 games?
Yeah.
No way. I didn't know. Basketball and hockey, 82 games. Well, you learn something new every day. Okay, so but so this podcast arose because I am less interested in the result than in the journey.
Yeah.
And I'm interested in those key moments where there was a point of inflection in your life. Clearly, it was the everything arises in language. But to some people, they just feel they are stuck in a shithole, and they try and do something, and they just feel like they're going down. So where is it? Is it mental positivity? Is it understanding, or that everything arises in language? Or is it do one positive thing every day? How can people change their trajectory because they feel they're going down? And that point of inflection is key. And you're still going to have losses, but how can you have more wins than losses?
don't stop relating to, you see, as human beings, one of the things that we relate to is our external gives us how we should feel. Like meaning, like, if I have a lot of money, if I'm doing this, if I'm doing that,
Yeah.
that should value how I am as a human being. No, it
Yeah.
shouldn't. Right? So
No, it shouldn't.
so
Yeah.
real power. See, it's easy to have power when everything's great. Oh yeah, woo,
Yeah,
I'm good.
100%.
No, you want to know real power? Real power is when life is full of shit. That's when you want power. That's when you
Yeah.
need power, right? When nothing's going your way, that's when you want power, because then you can get out of those shitty circumstances. So you want to begin to look, shitty things are going to happen. It's just going to happen. You can't control some things in life. You just can't. If we were with each other right now, I'd grab a Kleenex and I'd throw it at you. Maybe not in COVID times. That's a bad example. And I'd throw it at you. You couldn't control that happen, but you can control your interpretation or how you're going to react to it. So people that are going through shitty circumstances, it's like, you can't make the circumstance wrong. It's our language that adds a lot to it. It's just if you could just be with reality. Okay, I lost my job, right? It's a shitty circumstance. I lost my
fact. Yeah, that's the fact.
I lost my job. Okay, now, what do you want to do? Do you want a new job? Is that what you're committed to? Then create what you're committed to. I'm committed to a new job. Okay, cool. So now, fact, I lost my job. Yeah, it sucks. Hey, look, if you want to be sad, I tell my clients, put a timer on for 5 minutes, be sad. Once the timer's off, get over yourself. It's okay to be sad. Contain it. Now, what are you going to do? Now, it's very simple, right? See, we want complex answers.
Yeah, the Latinos want the telenovelas. They want the soap opera.
Just deal with it. Okay, what happened? I lost my job. You can't change it. You just can't. Now what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
You gonna look for jobs? Are you gonna maybe you don't want a job, then don't fucking complain. If you want power. Now look, if you don't want power and you want to complain, that's totally cool too. That's your choice.
That's fine.
But you're gonna get that quality of life. This is physics. This is like I can't argue gravity. Okay? So if you want to bitch and complain, your quality of life is gonna be consistent with bitching and complaining. Now if you want a powerful life, take actions. Now it's okay to be sad, it's okay to be frustrated. Why I love soccer, by the way, football, soccer is it's an environment for me to have my emotions. I tell people when I play soccer, my logical brain turns off.
Yeah.
I just scream, I yell, and then once it's over, my container is done. I can be like, okay, cool. Yeah. Let that kind of, But
I used to, as a kid, sorry to interrupt, go back to the soccer thing. I see people, and I kind of used to be like that. I was never like a diehard. It's not. So as a kid, there was this thing in Costa Rica. La Liga is a team, and Saprissa was the other team, like the Barcelona and Real Madrids. Yeah. And I was the only Liga fan in my school, in my grade. And Saprissa used to win all the time back in the 90s, early 90s. And it used to haunt me because I was in a bad mood. I was sad. I was scared that everyone was going to bug me at school. And then it happened with Barcelona when they were losing, blah, blah. And I was never like it would really mess up my day or I would scream or I would cry, but it would kind of get me angry. And now I get angry throughout the game, and I'm like, okay, well, this has nothing. It's 22 players across the world that don't give a fuck about who I am. They don't even know I exist. Nor should I. I mean, it's super entertaining, but it should not affect the way I relate to my son, my wife. It should not have any impact on whether I'm going to do whatever I need to do to make my day, to win my day. And I'm glad that you pointed that out, because the thing that I wanted to ask you is that logical mind and that mental toughness that you have, has it affected you in a way where it's hard for you to be spontaneous or romantic with your wife, or do you also have that very human side of you, but you're just, this is what it's, I mean, what I'm trying to say is like when everything is what it is, it's
yeah, no, I
and
have
you
no.
be romantic and
Yeah,
hype up other situations that are just maybe like two people in the same room kissing.
yeah, no,
That's
but
what it is.
yeah, romantic. See, when you look, I'm not some like I get mad, I get frustrated, I get what the fuck, right? But I don't dwell in it too long. Do you know
Yeah,
what I mean? I have to
yeah,
practice dwelling in it. I get pissed off. I get mad. I'm like, why the hell did this happen? What the hell's happened? Oh my god! Da, da, da. But I don't let myself stay in that state too long. This isn't about I'm just some Zen dude. Like, no, I'm I'm literally like everyone else, right? Like I joke, like if you cut open my brain, you'd see a six pack because I'm mentally tough, but don't lift up my shirt. But it's just literally like going to the gym. The more you go to the gym, the stronger you're gonna get. And the
yeah,
muscle is to be okay. And about being romantic and all that. Yeah, that's creation. See, when you can be with life the way the way it is and the way it's not, then you can create. Then you can use your words and language to create the life that you want. What's important to you.
I love that. On your Instagram, I saw a post that said how positivity impacts your mental toughness.
Yeah.
And I'm really curious your thoughts on, is it possible to be too positive to the point that you're almost blind to whatever is happening?
Well, that's
Um,
not positive. That's I wouldn't say that's positive. Positivity is like, yeah, everything's good. Woo. You're not faking it. You're not like you have to be so in reality with what's happening. You're not tricking yourself. You can't impact life if you're not with the way it really is. So I'm like,
yeah,
I'm gonna make $1 million in 5 days. No, that's not gonna come on. Like you could obviously anything's possible, but you got to get in reality, right? So
yeah,
there's the like, something could happen. There's like the miracles. That's like I said, that's above my pay grade. I don't know how the law of attraction. Does it work? I don't know, maybe, but I don't know. But you have to being positive isn't just like you're like, hey, that's you don't want to be fake about it. You're not walking around
yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah,
life's great. Like if I was sitting here and I was like, hey, be positive. You can do anything you want. You'd be like, dude, you're a bullshitter, man.
yeah, yeah,
Right? You gotta be
100%.
real. Being positive means, and maybe that word's being used too much, but like I like to surround myself with high attractors, things that make me feel good so that I can attack. Today I woke up like, oh fuck man, another day. Like that's kind of like the condition of being a human. You don't wake up like, oh, let's go. But then I have to like slowly then get over myself and generate and do, okay, now what am I gonna do? Let's go. Right? That's why
Yeah,
in my room, like you said about your room, my room, I got books that inspire me. There's a picture of me and Michelle, my little guy at Anfield, us in Cancun, like things that uplift me. But like if you saw me on the street, most people like when they look at my face, my normal face, fucking angry fucker, they look scared of me.
yeah,
Don't scare me. That's just my normal face. Inside, I'm like chill and peaceful, right? I'm not like
yeah,
it's not about faking it.
exactly.
Does that make sense?
I wanted to ask you that because uh, maybe have you done the Gallup report on your strengths, or have
No,
you heard of it?
no.
Okay, so
I'm not much on
there's
this
this
stuff.
test. So there's this test on, and I love these things because they're based on science, and it contributes to my self awareness. So
Yeah.
it gives you your top 5 strengths out of about 34 or 36 strengths that everyone has. But I think it's just important to know your top strengths because from what I've read, and maybe you can chime in, I think the people that have accomplished extraordinary things have done them by capitalizing on their biggest strengths and not dwelling or trying to mitigate their biggest weaknesses.
Yeah.
And in that way, one of my top strengths from the Gallup report, apart from communication and other things, was positivity.
Mm.
And I'm not a guy. I mean, maybe some people would say that I'm always smiling and making people laugh or whatever. And but everyone sees me as a kind of glass half full kind of guy, and
Yeah.
I just don't know where or how I manifest it or how the people can see it in me. but I do think that my life is going to be incredible. Like, I think my life is incredible. And I've always, in one way or another, I think I've made every environment like a fun place. I always adapt in some ways, but I don't really know how to touch that positivity, or what positive people say, or how positive people act, or there's some patterns.
Yeah, well, it's part of like you, no matter the situation that comes, being positive and happy in life is not, like I said before, it's not your external, like things can come at you, but if you can reorient and interpret that event newly in a powerful way, you have power. It's positivity. Look at something.
Yeah.
Look, it's the glass half full, the glass half empty. What do you look at it? What way you can look at it? It's your choice, right?
Yeah.
It's all how you see the event, and you get to say how you see the event. But you have to generate it, and you have to not just be like be on autopilot. You have to be like, okay, look, I just lost my job. Okay, cool. See, two people lose their jobs. One person's like, oh man, life sucks. Why this happened to me? The other person's like, oh, you know what, that sucks. But you know what? I want a new chapter in life. What can I see?
Yeah.
Just
a quick example.
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt. A quick example. And I'm saying this very respectfully to all the people who have lost loved ones, and because this COVID thing is real, and it's fucking tragic, or to many people. But when this whole thing happened, I was happy and so looking forward to having time with myself, to reading books, being with my wife, being at home, being able to see my kid grow up, not having to tour a lot, or not having to leave to teach at nights. My wife was here during mat leave. We didn't have family because we don't have family here. And I secretly want this whole thing. Not that I don't want any casualties, obviously.
I know. I understand what you're saying.
I want to be here for another 4 months and just read, be with Liam, be with my wife, be with myself, plan, create, learn, journal.
You're at the source of your experience of life, my man. It's power. That's what real power is. See, you just demonstrated real power. Shitty circumstance, quote unquote. But like, no, I'm going to reorient this and how I map it, my mental map. I'm going to map, I could spend more time with my kids. So you can always find something powerful in any situation.
And I saw a lot of people. Go ahead.
You don't have to. You really don't. You can do what the fuck you want. It's your choice. It's your life. But be clear. Based on how you act, there's a counter. That's how what's going to come back to you. It's your choice. If you want to be shitty, be shitty. No problem. Don't hang around
people. And I read this book that I've been wanting to read a lot. It's called The Artist's Way. I've mentioned it a lot in the previous episodes. And it says that, well, one of the things that you should do is two things. So two things are mandatory, that the book recommends, and it's basically a spiritual way to higher creativity. And it tells you that to have an artist date with yourself every week, where you take 2 hours. You don't share with your wife, with your best friend, with your kids. It's just for you. You go to a museum, you go to watch a soccer game, you go whatever you want to do. It's your time. And then every day you have to journal 3 pages, whatever happens in the morning. And it was just a masterclass on self-awareness about myself. Yeah. And through it, and the book asks you a bunch of questions. It's 12 weeks, and there's questions at the end of the chapter, and you have to do it per week. So through it, it asks you what you love and things. It reconnects you with yourself. And to me, the podcast was born through the journaling. I rediscovered that I love interviewing people. I love having vulnerable conversations. I realized that there's not a lot of spaces outside of interviewing, maybe, where you can have vulnerable conversations and be well, maybe this is just a belief or a story that I'm telling myself, but I haven't had the opportunity to have real honest conversation. I mean, if you're having a beer and watching the Barcelona game, you don't want to talk about how your dad left you or your mom left. Weird. Like, there's not a lot of scenarios, or maybe somebody was abused as a kid, or I don't know. So in this format, to me, this is what I wanted, and it energizes me, and I love it. And then the Kanban board, it was just I was journaling about. I didn't know what it would look like, but I came up with it, and through weeks of just journaling about different things, this thing came up, and my wife helped me visualize it and put it down. And now, man, like tens of people have copied it through Instagram, and they tag me, and it's incredible. And just going back to what you create for yourself and that positivity, I lost my job. Technically, well, I'm self-employed, and I'm gonna be a comedian forever and teach public speaking, but I wasn't teaching in person. We launched the online classes only like a month after, but for a while we were unemployed and had nothing. We didn't know if we would have government support. And I'm like, well, listen, I have a line of credit. I am super excited to be here. I have a healthy child. I can run outside every day. This is all I need. My family is healthy. I'm great. And in comparison, I have a lot of friends, or some friends, who are like making 5 times, maybe 10 times of what I do, and even more successful in the eyes of like in the industry of comedy or whatever. And they had a lot of savings, and they were miserable.
Yeah.
Like they had been just shot in the back 10 times. What am I? And I'm like, dude, this is the time to do whatever you love. And I think it was a hard look for a lot of people, because they would numb themselves at work for months, years, and never had time with themselves, never asked themselves, how am I doing with my family? How am I doing in relationships, in my physical, in my spiritual life? And now they had to take a hard look at themselves, not having this area to numb themselves out. Meanwhile, I don't claim to have all the answers, but I was just so happy to be able to continue to invest in myself.
Great.
And I'm just happy that it happened. I'm curious, what was your experience throughout the pandemic?
I enjoy, like I said, like I took it seriously. I do take it seriously. I wear masks and all that. But like, we have the pandemic. This is reality. Okay. So back to reality. What's reality? There's a pandemic, and there's certain things we can and can't do. Reality. Now I get to choose how I want to interpret that reality. And like you said, like I got a little guy, he's 3 years old. We're expecting a new one any minute now.
Oh, and, congrats.
Yeah. And it's like, you know what? It's time I get to spend more time with my family. And like, honestly, my business has picked up, because it's like I'm doing more Zoom calls. Zoom is like, everyone's like, yeah, we can Zoom now. It's becoming more appropriate. So I have a lot of coaching clients over Zoom. I practice getting better with my coaching over Zoom. I prefer Zoom better now, because I saw, how can I become a better coach over Zoom? So that became better. You know, it's like it's a really cool time to kind of, like you said, it's brilliant what you said, stop and reflect. Right?
Yeah.
So I have a choice. Do you want to make this situation wrong and it shouldn't be this way? Too bad. It doesn't matter what I think. Reality doesn't give a shit about what you think. It's not going to change it.
Yeah.
The matter. That's real power, is having power in the face of shitty circumstances. No one can fuck with you anymore. No one.
There's a book that I've been wanting to read for the longest time. Maybe you've read it, but I have so many books that I want to read, and I have to take it one by one, because then I end up reading 6 and not finish any of them. Yeah. It's by Viktor Frankl. And
Man's Search for Meaning.
Yeah. I heard.
Yeah, so good.
I heard that he's in a concentration camp in Nazi Germany or Austria or whatever. And even though he's in the face of death and he's in a concentration camp, he conditions himself to not be impacted by, like, nothing external can defeat the internal.
They can't take that away from him. They can't take away his goddamn interpretation and who he thinks he is and how he interprets event. No one can fuck with you. They can't. Look, when I got how powerful I was, like, and what I could do, I swear to God, if I can do it, and this isn't just like, if you could see who I was before, the people who watch this podcast, you literally can have power. Now, I'm not saying you can be a millionaire, not everyone's gonna be a millionaire, not everyone's gonna be rich. That's just a reality. But you can have power in the face of any circumstance. That's real power. Then you can create
Yeah.
those things that you love. People can't mess with you. We're
I,
yeah. Go ahead.
I love whenever you mention money, I've been noticing over the last year or so
Yeah.
that when I made the decision to quit my lucrative bank job, as I like to call it, 3 years ago, to do stand-up comedy, to pursue my professional career in comedy and speaking,
Yeah.
I had no idea where I was going, but I knew that this was the right decision at the time, and I was just gonna make the best out of it. And in Canada, what's the worst thing that can happen? You take a job at Tim Hortons, or in a
Exactly.
year from now,
Exactly.
yeah, I go back to the bank in a year or whatever. I gave myself a year. But one thing that I've noticed over this time is that I in one way or another, I made the decision that money does not equal happiness.
Yeah, it doesn't.
And I made the decision. I also decided in my mind as a consequence that money was bad in some way. So in my mind, and I still have to like focus to not believe this, but I'm like, oh, people who have a lot of money automatically miserable. I know so many people who are millionaires and they hate their fucking lives. So I already decided that if I have money, I'm gonna be miserable.
Yeah.
So I have to really concentrate
Yeah.
to think, hey, no, I can be a good husband, father, businessman, friend, coach, comedian, and be wealthy in many different ways, including a financial aspect.
Exactly.
I don't have to be miserable if I'm rich.
Money. When I say money's not everything, but now would it be cool to have a lot of money? Yeah, money's great, but don't have it be the only thing. I want to make a lot of money, not because I have to, but because I can. See, that's
Yeah.
creation. If you think you need to, oh my God, I need to make money. No, no, you're not creating. But you can make money because you want to. Now, if you're making money because you think it's going to make you happy and you think it's going to fix you, no, you can, but good luck. But if you want to make money because you're perfect, everything's fine, and you can as a creation, totally different story. Money's cool. Money's great. I got to go to Anfield and watch Liverpool play, right? Because I had
Yeah.
money. But you have to create money because you want to. No other reason. Then it's
Yeah.
creation.
As you speak, I don't know, but your tone of voice reminds me of Jerry Seinfeld for some reason.
I
And
get
it's
that,
like,
or I
yeah,
get that, or Aziz Ansari.
yeah. Even more. That's true. But the Jerry Seinfeld goes, yeah,
Yeah,
and
exactly.
I love when you do that. Now I want to ask you. You said you have a 3-year-old boy,
Yeah,
and I have a 9-month-old boy.
yeah,
And before, I've also noticed in my self-awareness journey, as I like to call it, that before still some days, I my mood varies if I feel like I lost a day in terms of productivity. And I used to get very fucking pissed
yeah,
and super like if I used to have like a morning routine ritual in the morning where I would get up at 5:45. It all went to shit when Liam was born because of the no sleeping and everything, and now I'm more relaxed and balanced in a way. But I used to get up at 5:45 and I loved it. I used to meditate, journal, drink water, exercise. I had a really productive life before 8 a.m., which I really valued. But if I did one thing that maybe I got up 15 minutes later and would just fuck up my whole morning. I'd be in a bad mood the whole fucking day. And now with a baby, you just know that it's very hard to have that type of balance. Or or you could just leave that to your wife and see her suffer. But that's not what I do. So my question is, with your kid and upcoming new kid, congrats. How has this impacted your personality or your productivity, and has it made you more empathetic? Has it made you more patient, or has it shifted nothing of your beliefs
no,
from
no.
before?
Look, if it shifted nothing, don't ever hire me as a coach. Straight up, like if I look. By the way, I think everyone should have a coach. You should do a coach that resonates with you, right? But like, don't ever like. It has like his name's Bodhi, and he's the coolest. Like I learned so much from the guy. Like I have to look when you're a parent, you learn as you go, right? You literally are
Yeah.
learning as you go. So I reflect. I do a lot of reflection. Okay, what worked? I should have said that to him. I shouldn't. Then the next day I'm constantly, because I know everything arises in language. There's certain shows we let him. Pretty much the only thing we have on TV is sports and music, because I know his brain's getting impacted by the language he's around. So I surround him with powerful language. And it's look, and you just look at with the kid. It's taught me to like, you should definitely plan and schedule and all that, but you have to let go. Right?
Yeah.
Things he is my most important. The most important thing is for me to be a father. Father, everything else. And I've just learned to like just be in life. Like I practice. Look, if you want, everyone's like, you want to be in the now. You want to be in the now. Spend time with a 3-year-old or 2-year-old. Right? Right?
100%.
I on purpose, I practice going to his level and just looking in his eyes and like kind of discovering the world for him. They're just so cute. Just the things they say and like, hey, Dada. Like he's just like, and the more I can kind of like have him teach me things about being present and being in life. And then obviously as a father, I have to teach him discipline and things, which I do. But he's just taught me to kind of just like the importance of life. And like, look, he's only going to be a 3-year-old and however many days today. Then he's done. Then he's the next day. Then he's the next day. So I'm really enjoying and appreciating every single moment I have with him. That's what he's taught me. Enjoy the moment. Our brain is designed for survival. So if the brain can't predict the future, it's like, oh my God, all right, overthinking. So you have to override the amygdala, the survival mechanism of the brain, and get in the moment and present.
One thing that I've heard is that humans are horrible at predicting the future, anyways. So you might as well try and win the day and try not to worry about what's going to happen.
And notice when it predicts it, it's going to predict it. Okay. So the key is your mind will try to predict it. See, human beings, what makes us different than other animals, we have awareness. We're aware of our awareness. So you can think, oh, wow, I'm trying to predict the future. In that moment, boom. Oh, wow. Look, I tell people, you want to be a powerful listener? How you be a powerful listener is you don't listen. In the moment, whoa, I'm not listening. Boom, you listen. Oh, I didn't hear that. Boom. And you keep bringing yourself back. And it's an ongoing practice. You got to keep practicing this stuff. Too bad. That's just the way it is. If you want a powerful life, then you die. I'm not sure. Above my pay grade. But that's just the game.
I've noticed with my kid, it's also given me like different emotions.
Yep.
Some that I like, obviously many or all of them that I didn't know that I was gonna have. And like one thing that I've noticed is that I'm comparing myself to my dad. And I'm constantly thinking about my dad. Will I be a good dad? Will I be a bad dad? I was able to go to boarding school. My dad and my family gave me the opportunity to go to a boarding school in Quebec, which I absolutely love. I spent there 3 years in small town Lennoxville, Quebec, near Bishop's University. It's called Bishop's College School, and it's super expensive. And here I am, quitting my job 3 years ago. Like not making, like my income went down 70% the first year that I quit my job. Obviously it's stably coming up, but I'm like, fuck, I really want Liam to go to boarding school. And if I don't have the money to send Liam to boarding school when he's of age, does that make me a bad father? Or for example, so these little things I have to fucking concentrate to not tell myself that story. Or for example, we don't have a car. We've never had a car. I do have a G license or whatever, but now Liam's going to go to daycare and it's super expensive. And I'm like, fuck, we also have to buy a car to drive in there. I'm like, what if I do take my kid in public transit to the daycare or whatever, does that make me a bad? I'm like, I don't even have the money to buy a fucking car. And in my mind, I'm like, I have to concentrate. Like, Liam doesn't even fucking care. It has no correlation whatsoever to being a bad or good. It just means you either have a car or you don't.
Yeah, and your brain's trying to predict the future. Like, do I have it?
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't even happen. And our brain, it's just what the mind does as scenarios. And that happens, and that happens, and that, oh my God, blah, blah, blah. And then you're like, oh my God, and then you start interacting with your future. And it
Yeah.
gives you emotions. And then you're in that state and you start acting from that state, and then it kind of perpetuates it and it becomes. Just opposed to, okay, what am I gonna do right now?
So what do you do when you obviously self-awareness plays in, but once you have that self-awareness where you're having a pretty bad day and you're like, okay, Gavin, chill the fuck out. Your mind is playing tricks. You're thinking that you're stupid again. You're back
Yeah,
in putting down a grade. And when you feel like you've had a couple of hours or a couple of days of bad momentum, physically or what do you do? I have a letter to myself that I read myself every morning and I say it out loud. But what do you do?
Well, I like to a couple things. Put on a good music, read a good book, put on something inspiring, talk to my wife, talk to a coach, look at myself in the mirror and just get the fuck over yourself, man. Like, or exercise helps. Exercise really helps.
Yeah.
It really helps. If you're having a bad day, just go do something. Do anything to get you out of that state into a high state. Anything like that. And then the key thing is to begin to notice your flags. Begin to notice the things that are going to trigger you.
Yeah.
Right? Like, there's certain things in your environment that are going to trigger you.
To me, it's Instagram. One of the things that triggers me is it's like I'll go into Instagram, let's call it a mood 8 out of 10.
Yep.
And I never come out a 9
Yep.
or 10 out of 10. It's always like a 7 or a 4 or a
Then
2. So I had to unfollow a bunch of people that I know trigger this in me, or stop looking at their material or their stories, whatever it is. And I just go in, post, do whatever my thing, and in and out. I check in and out. And it's important to have that self-awareness. And another thing that I do is I leave my phone out of the bedroom when I'm sleeping, really all the time. I don't touch my phone from 10 p.m. to 9 a.m., sometimes for longer. And those little things, I find that that protect me from getting in a bad mood
Yeah,
or a bad
that's very
mindset.
powerful. It's creating practices for yourself that you know that look, are you going to get in a bad mood? Yeah, there's things that are going to piss you off. That's fine. It's not about being perfect, but it's just knowing how long do you want to stay in that bad mood. Because when you're in a bad mood and you act from that bad mood, you're going to get results consistent with that type of behavior, right? It's clear. If I'm in a
I
bad
agree.
mood and I'm like, oh, and I speak to my son this way or my wife this way, now it's going to perpetuate it and give me that. Now, am I willing to have that? Do I want that? Now, some days it's harder. Some days it's easier. It's okay. It's okay. But and you kind of got to give yourself a little bit of compassion to be okay with messing up and failing. And then, oh, wow, that triggered me. Or I can do this. I can do that. Life's just a journey of growth. There's nowhere to get. You're never going to make it. You're never going to make it. It's not.
That's so true. Dude, this has been a master class of everything. I feel like I was coached for the last hour.
It's not, coaching, the word's so like, as a coach, it's just a word too. I just like to inspire people. My job as a coach or mental conditioning coach or whatever you want me to call me is to give you the confidence to believe in yourself. I tell all my clients, I'm not telling you anything you don't know. I'm just pulling it out of you.
Yeah. And I think one of the reasons why I have a coach or many coaches in different, it's because of that accountability aspect.
Yeah, great.
So you pull those things, you're a self-awareness tool as well. But even when I don't believe in myself or I don't want to do things because, well, I mean, if I have a certain level of integrity, I'll do them because I'm accountability because I'm accountable to myself. But that added layer of having to see you on a weekly or bi-weekly or monthly basis is like, I've better, because we agreed, like, I'm Gavin, I'm going to do this. And you're like, okay, you said you were going to do this. And I said, yeah, I'll do this. And I'll have to come back and be like, I didn't do this. So you're going to be like, dude, you said you were going to do this. Why didn't you do the thing that you said that you were going to do? And I think that we're not superhumans. We're not like Transformers. So I think that added layer will just get you to the next level consistently versus you not having anyone.
100%.
we could talk for 8 hours,
Good.
but I have to ask you the question, the champagne question, which is a tradition in this podcast to say goodbye, and it's the champagne question. So it goes like this: if we were to meet a year from now with a bottle of champagne, what are we celebrating in Gavin's life?
Okay, it have to be non-alcoholic because I'm a drinker. So if it's
Okay, good.
non-alcoholic,
No, non-alcoholic. Fake,
what would we
fake
celebrate
champagne
in a year?
in your life.
I like that question. You know what? We're celebrating that I've one of my goals in life, and I love sports. Like I
Me too.
absolutely love sports, and I love coaching. So we're celebrating that someone just hired me to be their mindset coach, and they're a professional athlete. So they're either from the NHL, NBA, Premier League, some high league, and they've hired me to coach them in their mental toughness.
Oh, I love that, man.
So if anyone
Absolutely.
if anyone on this podcast that is an athlete that wants to speak to a really good mental coach, give them my contact.
Thank you, man. That is incredible. I do think we have some high performance athletes listening to this. So now you know. Contact the unbreakable, the unmistakable, the highly capable Gavin Bains. Thank you so much, brother.
Yeah, man. Thank you.
Gracias por escuchar el Stephan Dyer Podcast. Arrivederci, my people.